Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone that taught us His truth and who rule well. Peace and love, salutations and mercy be unto you, hopefully Lakakim, that are the priests and prophets of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and that are hazarding your lives to magnify and praise the true names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the true name of our Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the true name of His only begotten Son, and who are prophesying and pushing the true message of the Bible to the rest of you believers that are out there throughout the four corners of the earth that make up the rest of the hopeful elect, you Akim and you Akwathium. May Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai continue to watch over you and your households as you wait patiently for these last and final prophecies to happen in the earth and the return of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai. Back again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, in which I hope that this lesson will be edifying unto the ears of the hopeful elect that are throughout the four corners of the earth, which this lesson is going to be going into the U.S. economy, which will eventually collapse because it's only so many amount of times that they'll be allowed and can continue to prop up this economy and stop it from collapsing, which they have done many different times in times past using what is known as the Federal Reserve. All right, the money that you use today is known as the Federal Reserve notes, all right, which is a fiat currency, and it's a currency that's not based upon anything but the fact that the government has told you to put your trust in it, and that's it. But eventually there will be a collapse of this economy, all right, and other economies around the world will collapse as well, but primarily dealing with the economic collapse of the U.S., which is known in the scriptures as Babylon the whore. This information that I'm getting ready to go into comes from an article which is entitled U.S. Economic Collapse, What Will Happen? And this comes from a website called thebalancedmoney.com. And once again, many different times the U.S. economy could have collapsed unless the Fed stepped in and intervened and propped it up. All right, during the time of recessions, during the times of economic downturns, all right, they have used their Federal Reserve to print more money, which have caused more and more debt and have put them in even a worse situation than before. So reading on, it says, although the initial outbreak of the CPAN-19 in March 2020 sent a shockwave through the market and economy, another recent near collapse of the U.S. economy happened in September 16, 2008. And we're facing some times that are worse than that of September 16, 2008 or 2007 going into 2008, which we saw a recession and we saw a market, housing market crash. All right. This is the day the Federal Reserve primarily fund broke the buck. The value of the fund's holdings dropped below $1 per share. Panic investors withdrew billions from money market accounts, where businesses kept cash to fund day-to-day operations. If withdrawals had gone on for even a week, and if the feds and the U.S. government had not stepped in to shore up the financial sector, the economy would have likely ground to a halt. And eventually that's going to happen when it grounds to a halt. And what's going to happen is they're going to let it happen. All right. They're going to let this financial crisis unfold, which is going to lead to a shockwave. All right. Not only within America, but throughout the world. And things are going to get bad for a lot of people that put their trust within this economy. Trucks would have stopped rolling. Grocery stores would have run out of food, and businesses would have been forced to shut down. And this is coming. When the U.S. economy collapses, a U.S. economic collapse is unlikely, when necessary, the government can act quickly to avoid a total collapse. So there's many different facets that they can use. They can use their Federal Reserve, to give money to businesses, to give to people, as we saw them hand out stimulus, all right, to the American people. All right, pretty much everybody and their mama, all right, got a stimulus check, and not just one. All right, and in 2008, they did something similar with the businesses, all right, to stop them from going under. So they can continuously prop up, this economy, but they're not going to do that. All right, the time is going to come when they're going to just let it collapse, and it's going to lead to one problem after another, so that they can come with their solution to the problems, which their solution is going to be a new currency, a new world currency, which will be the MOTB, the RFID, CHIP, and the brain CHIP. For example, the Federal Reserve can use the contractionary monetary tools to tame hyperinflation, or it can work with the Treasury to provide liquidity, as during the 2008 fiscal crisis and the CPAN 19. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures banks, so there's a little chance of the banking collapsing similar to that in the 1930s. The president can release strategic oil reserves to offset the oil embargo. Homeland Security can address the cyber threat. The U.S. military can respond to terrorist attacks, and check this out, transportation stoppage, or rioting and civil unrest, because we know that there will be seditions that happen against the governments. All right, we're living in the age of technology, the age of social media. All right, particular events and information is going to spread abroad. People are going to panic. They're going to run to stores. All right, certain films and footages will be leaked and put online, which is going to cause more and more people to become angrier. All right, eventually they're going to shut down the internet. All right, people will loot grocery stores. All right, people will rob other people inside of grocery stores in broad daylights in the parking lots. All right, eventually, the martial law would be kicked in, which will be an emergency act. The military will be deployed against the citizens of the United States. All right, people will try to make a run on the banks to get their money out. But the run on the banks will be combated with the new CBDC system, central bank digital currency system, that will be enacted and set in place, in which Biden has already put together executive orders to work out the framework of that system, which will be the framework of the MOTB system. Reading on, in other words, the federal government has many tools and resources to prevent an economic collapse. So really, up until this point, they've been propping up the system and stopping it from falling. But the time's going to come where it's going to be allowed to completely fall. And all of those that have put their trust in the system, all right, will fail. This is another article. It says the White House has just called for the creation of a digital dollar. And in this article, it's pretty much talking about, how they're creating the framework, for the DD. All right, I'm going to call it that. The framework consists of a number of different approaches that may facilitate the management of these assets and make the digital asset space more resistant to fraud, or so they say. Government agencies have been hard at work over the last 6 months since President Biden issued Executive Order 14067 on March 22nd with the title Ensuring Responsible Development of Digital Assets. And he just recently came with another one that goes into the bioeconomy. All right. Why is it called the bioeconomy? Because you are going to be turned into the credit card. Yes, you as the individual that decides to continue to deal with the system and bow down and worship the image of the beast. Eventually, once you take the MOTB, you will become the payment system. And that's how they're going to control the world. All right. That's how they're going to control the world. Now, going from there, because there's one more article that I want to mention, which this one is entitled U.S. Treasury just published a working paper pushing for central bank digital currencies to counter bank runs. Which a bank run is you hear about the most popular one that happened in the 1930s, during the economic collapse of that time, all right, which is also known as the Great Depression. All right, there was a run on the banks, and people went all at once to withdraw their money from the bank. Well, one way that they'll combat that during this time is creating the CBDC system, which will prevent a run on the bank. They're saying that if they set up the system, that it will and stabilize things, that'll stop people from wanting to run on the bank. But ultimately, what that would do is that will put you in a position to where you are extremely vulnerable, and vulnerable in the sense to where you have now put yourself in a servitude and bondage to where you don't have the freedoms and liberty that you once had before. So a CBD system is a system that will be ruled by tyrants. Let's say it that way. All right, because it gives them the total control over you. So you'll see things like what happened in Canada, when they shut down, the protesters' bank accounts. They shut down the bank accounts of the people that were funding the protesters, that were sending money to them, which it wasn't a legal thing to do because none of those people were convicted of breaking any crimes. But that shows you that it's a totalitarian system. All right, it's a tyrannical system to where they do it because they have the power and the means to do so. So once this new system is set up, it's going to do away with the dollar that you know. It's going to do away with the currency that you know, and it's all going to become digital, which by becoming digital and you needing a particular method of using that payment system, all right, gives them the total control over you as the people that are down with them, that decide that you want to be able to go back to what you consider normal. So you're going to take the MOTB. All right, this economy will collapse. All right, it will collapse. And as it states within the book of Proverbs 23:5, wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings, and they fly away as an eagle towards heaven. So right in when you least expect it, all right, this dollar, as you know it, will be done away with. And all of you who put your trust in this economy, all right, in this system, in this government, your hopes are going to fail. You're going to lose your life savings. You're going to lose things such as your 401k. You're going to lose things such as your pension. You're going to lose your life savings. All right, all in a moment. You thought that your whole life consists of you, saving up, pinching, setting up a better future for yourself, when really there is no future within this place. All right, being Israelites, you should be committed to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, which first starts with you repenting and believing upon Yahushua unto the glorification of Yahweh and keeping the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to the best of your ability. All right, being aware of the things that will happen through biblical prophecy and waiting for those prophecies to unfold and happen in the earth so that eventually you can inherit something that will not corrupt something that will not be destroyed. All right, inheriting the kingdom of heaven, which will never pass away or be given into another people. In the kingdom of heaven, you ain't got to worry about a financial collapse. You ain't never got to worry about being broke again. You ain't never got to worry about working and not having enough, scratching and surviving. All right, we in the kingdom of heaven, we really gonna have good times. All right, you ain't got to worry about hanging in the child line. You know, you ain't got to worry about living in the projects. You ain't got to worry about needing government stimulus and handouts, because as the economy is receding, or as the economy is going through what they're saying that we're entering into, which is a stagflation, a stagnant demand within the country's economy mixed with inflation. You don't have to worry about a hyperinflation. You don't have to worry about somebody corrupting the money, which is true money. You don't have to worry about somebody corrupting the true weights and balances. And these are all of the things that we have experienced within this place, are amongst experiencing the curses. So at this present time, being believers, we're supposed to set our treasures in the kingdom of heaven, like it says within Luke, the 12th chapter, beginning at verse 31. But rather seek ye the kingdom of Yahweh, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom of heaven, or to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide for yourselves bags that wax not old, a treasure in heaven that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither doth moth corrupt. So set up good deeds. All right, because when Yahushua comes, you're going to have men and women that are saved because of their faith and their good deeds, their good works. They're going to be saved because they're part of the elect, but they have faith and they have good works that are stored up in heaven. Reading on, it says, for where your treasures is, there will your hearts be also. And up above these particular verses that were read, you have the verse where it mentions that these are all of the things that the Gentiles seek. Because the people of this world, the kingdoms and the nations of this world, their desires are upon these earthly things. So when these things are taken away, when their security is taken away, they fall into despair because their desires are stripped from them. All right, but above all of these particular things, above riches, above, estates, above land, above a house, above a car, above money in the bank, is the fear of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Because when you fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, there's no want to those that fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. So even in the days of trouble, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua can set up a table for you before your enemies. All right, he can make you prosper while your enemies are failing. And the time is going to come when that's going to happen. All right, when you go to scriptures like the book of Sirach, the 11th chapter, this is the point, Sirach 11 and 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in Yahweh and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of Yahweh on a sudden to make a poor man rich. The blessings of Yahweh is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessings to flourish, or he's making his blessings flourish. See? So it's nothing in the sight of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, in the time when the world is chaotic and when things are getting bad for the world, to bless those that have been trusting in him. And this is where our hope and our joy is. And we know that this will happen as long as we continue to endure and have faith. The book of Sirach 40 and 26 says, riches and strength lift up the heart, but the fear of Yahweh is above them both. There is no want in the fear of Yahweh, and it needeth not to seek help. And in the time to come, things are going to get so bad that people are going to go crazy. They're going to become wild. They're going to become reckless. They're going to become dangerous. All right, they're going to have nothing else to lose, so they're going to lose it. And after they've been acting chaotic, and the times are chaotic, eventually the government is going to put forth a solution that people are going to take. All right, this is called the Hegelian dialectic. This is called order ab chaos. This is called problem, reaction, solution. So the problem is the economy. The reaction is going to be of the people. All right, they're going to lose everything in the blink of an eye. All right, their riches are going to make wings. It's going to fly away. All right, things are going to get chaotic. You know, there's going to be riots. There's going to be looting. It's going to be killing and murdering of all different ages, of all different sexes, races. People are going to be being murdered, man, for the basic necessities of life. And then that's when the government is going to come with the solution. Well, this is what's known as the RFID CHIP. If you take this, this will be the solution. So people are going to seek to them for that help and aid. But all the while putting themselves in a servitude, which Esau Edom thinks will be perpetually because they think that this NWO will last. All right, they think that it will last, but it's not. Now, going from there to the book of Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened. We read in the earlier, it says that if they wouldn't have prompted up, this economy during 2008 or during the CPAN 19, that pretty much the economy would have grinded to a halt. Well, the time is going to come where grinders cease. All right, the keepers of the house are trembling, which the keepers of the house, when you go into the book of Luke 16:2, it's a parable that Yahushua is given, and that parable is dealing with forgiveness. But it mentions in there the word stewardship. When you go into the word stewardship, the word there is Strong's G3622, and the word is economia. But the root word of economia is economos. But oikonomia is where you get the word economy from. All right, so the keepers of this economy, the ones that manages, the public money, the ones that manage the government's money, all right, the ones that manage the money of this country are trembling. All right, they're trembling. It says, verse 4, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Because the time is going to come where it's going to get so bad out here to the point that these cities are locked down. These streets are locked down. The neighborhoods are locked down. Martial law is implemented. An emergency act is implemented. There's curfews. But that's not going to stop people, because people still need to eat. You think somebody's going to sit in their house and starve to death just to let violence not happen? All right, you think that they're just going to sit back and allow their assets to be frozen in bank accounts or their money to be stripped away from them? They're not worried. They're worried about the fact that yes, because of money, but they need that money in order to buy the necessities that they need to live day by day. They don't want to sit away and pine away from hunger. So that basic instinct kicks in. All right, that fight or flight kicks in. That self-preservation kicks in. And that's the reason why there's going to be a lot of looting. There's going to be a lot of burning of buildings, destroying of property. There's going to be a lot of breaking and entering. There's going to be a lot of robbery. There's going to be a lot of theft. People are going to be stealing from stores, stealing from people. And eventually when things get even worse, they're gonna kill to be able to have food. All right, killing people that's near them. Reading on, it says, and when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and the desire shall fail, because men go off to his lone home, and the manners Salakia, and the mourners go about the streets. See, so things is about to get very bad out here, in this economy. As you know, it is getting ready to take a hit. All right, it's getting ready to fall flat on its face. All right, and life as you know it is changing. It's going to change drastically. All right, all of that hope that you put into the system only for your money to make yourself wings and fly away. All right, people are going to get very desperate. People are going to get very angry, agitated, frustrated, and eventually they're going to look for an outlet to let all of that anger and that frustration out. And they're going to do that through violence. All right, it's about to get very bad out here. But in the midst of all of this, all right, the silver lining to those that trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the fact that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to come through for those that trust in them. Psalms 23 and verse 5, thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to provide, for those that trust in them, even within the time of trouble. So with that, I truly hope that this lesson was edifying. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and peace. Love and salutations be unto you, hopefully, like Akim, that has in your lives to push this truth, and to the rest of you believers that are out there. A shalom and a baba ball. Kwan bakiyam. Shalom.